Okay, so let me ask this question also. Sometimes there are issues cropping up on social media, whereby a landlord will just barge into his or her property. Is that legal?
It's not legal, right? So first you have to understand that there is a law known as trespass, right? The law of trespass. So there's trespass to land, and the person who is in rightful possession of the land can even sue the landlord for trespass.
Right.
Because under Article 18 of the 1992 Constitution,
Right.
you are entitled to the privacy of your home, wherever you are, and your correspondence, your home, your building, your correspondence, whatever. So this is your office. This is the privacy of your office.
Right.
What you are doing in your office is your business,
Right.
unless it is an illegal business or an immoral business. So obviously, if you discover that there is prostitution going on in a particular office, the landlord didn't give the office out for prostitution, so he can report to the police and he can barge in. So there are certain grounds under Section 17
Okay.
of the Rent Act 220. It says that the landlord can repossess the property if the property is used for an illegal or immoral purpose, or the property is used to commit nuisance or annoyance. You there, you've rented the space and you've decided to be your own personal DJ,
Right.
lasting the whole space in a commercial area. Then the landlord can come and then give you notice, right? So the landlord cannot really enter the property unless he has a solid ground for doing so in accordance with the law. And then he also has to give you notice that I'm coming for inspection or I'm coming to
Prior notice.
Yes, prior notice. Usually they even say sometimes a month notice or
Right.
sometimes 3 months notice. And so it can be in the contract that every year I'll do one inspection of the property. If you agree, then that's good. But then for the landlord to barge in, you can immediately arrest him and even go and report him to the police.
Yes.
If he doesn't have any right, he has trespassed onto your property. So although it is his property, right? He has given you for that duration the right over the property. So you can sue the landlord for trespass to your own to his own property, especially if he had leased or rented it out, because he had made it clear that he's no longer in possession of it for that period. You are the one in possession, so you are the one who can sue. And apart from the landlord, you are the one who can sue anyone who enters your property, even if it's not the landlord. Anyone who enters
The landlord's wife.
Yeah, the landlord's wife. Sometimes they'll send their brothers or their agents. You can sue all of them. You can even beat them. You can arrest them. You can
beat them.
Yes. If someone barges into your property, you can fight back because probably the person is coming to attack you. You have the right to protect.
Yeah, you can beat them.
You can beat them. You can beat them. You have to arrest them and then report them to the police.
Okay.
They are committing a crime. It's trespass.
Yes.
Then that one you take it on from there. So you can report them to the police for trespass, and then they can be charged and they can even be fined for that particular.
Okay. All right. Next question. Instances where you rent the place. Now, you stayed in the place for, let's say you rented it for 4 years. You stayed in there for 3 years. Now it's remaining 1 year, right? Now you are going to, you sublet that to another party to live in that property. Can you be beaten also by the landlord?
No. Yeah. So actually, it's a whole concept of law. Establishment or subletting the property. It's actually allowed that. Number two, yes. So there are two issues. Number one, if the rest of the lease is a very short term,
Right.
like a few months, then you cannot sublet without the written permission of the landlord. So if you have like 3 months left, you cannot sublet without letting the landlord know.
Okay.
Because obviously at the end of the term, the landlord will come to the house with you
Right.
and have a conversation with you on how to go forward.
Right.
So you cannot sublet without the permission of a landlord. If it is a short 3 months, 1 month left. But if it's more than the maybe 1 year or 2 years left, maybe a mini month, then in that case you can even sublet without letting the landlord know. You don't need his permission to sublet.
Really?
Just that after you've subletted your property, you have to inform him. You have to inform him that
that this person is occupying my space.
This person is occupying my space. And the general rule for sublease, right, is that look, you cannot sublease beyond the remainder of the term. Have you got it? You cannot sublease beyond the remainder of the term. So if I have 1 year left, I cannot give the entire more than 1 year to someone else. I have only 1 year left. So how come I'm giving the whole part of it to someone else? You can even sublet, for example, if you have 1 year left,
Right.
you can sublet 6 months. And then maybe you've traveled and you come back. So the person will stay for 6 months.
Right.
And when you come back, you resume the property. The landlord doesn't really need to do, because it's just an just that The obligation is on the sublessor to respect the rights of the landlord. So the landlord has certain rights. So he has
Right.
communicated to you that don't use the property for prostitution, don't use the property for any illegal or immoral purpose. Then when you sublet it, the other person is not using the property for illegal or immoral. The landlord can come.
All that will
Yes.
be in the agreement.
All that will be the agreement. That respect the authority of the head lease,
Okay.
right? The head lessor. So that is a landlord. So if the landlord has leased the property to you for
Right.
5 years, you can stay 3 years and sublet even 1 year to someone else. And then you come back for your final 1 year. Just communicate it to him. Just communicate it to the landlord. But then if it's just a few months left, then you have to get the landlord's written consent before you sublet. Then another issue is that people have an issue understanding the distinction between sublease and assignment. So if you have, let's say, you've rented the place for 5 years and there's only 2 years, you can assign the whole 2 years to another person.
Okay.
But if you assign a portion of your 2 years, that is the sublease.
Right.
So for the sublease, it means that you are still holding the lease and then you just giving a sub, like a part of it to someone.
Somebody.
But for an assignment, you've assigned your entire interest in the lease to the person.
Okay.
I hope you are getting it. So if I have 2 years, that if I give the whole 2 years to another person, that's an assignment.
That's an
But
assignment.
if I give a portion of the 2 years to the person, that's a sublease. If I give 1 year,
Right.
it's a sublease because I'll still be the main lessee,
yeah.
and then there'll be a head lessor. That is the landlord. So there are distinctions. For an assignment, if you are giving the whole remainder of the property, it means when we are not even there. So who the landlord communicates with? That means that you have to inform the landlord or give notice to him and get his approval before you do that. But if it's a sublease, right? If it's a long period and you can sublet it to someone, you don't really need the consent of the landlord crowd. But at least afterwards, you should inform him. And you have to inform the sublessee that, oh, there is a landlord above you whose authority we must also respect by using that supersedes mine.
Yeah.
And you must use the property
Right.
in a way that we have agreed to. Don't do it more than what the landlord has stated. Yes, so that's the general. So yes, you can actually sublet your property. You can even assign the rest of your lease to another person.
Another person. Okay. Let's say as a tenant, okay, you are living in the house. From nowhere, a tree breaks and fall on the roof. Now, that damage, who repairs it? Natural disaster, right?
Yes. So
that damage, who repairs it?
All right. So
or maybe you are living in the house. Okay, that's natural.
Yes.
Maybe you are living in the house and there is a vehicle barging into your house. It breaks, like let's say, for example, what happened to the ladies who passed at East Legon? Yes. What happens to like the it just hits the walls and it broke it.
Yeah.
Who repairs it? Who repairs it?
All right. So, sincerely speaking, every particular tenant landlord relationship, there is an insurance usually that is recommended because these things are disasters that you do not naturally anticipate to happen to you, right? You can lease 10 properties for 20 years, not to happen. The one property that you lease for 6 months, that 6 months, there can be a whole accident that maybe an earthquake. So what you do is that you enter into, you have an insurance premium. I hope you got that to protect that interest. That's the first part. So for huge leases, for a huge number of years, you have to actually insure the property against such losses so that you indemnify. So this one, it doesn't matter whether landlord, you won't fight. We both pay the insurance, then the insurance company will come and indemnify us. That means they'll come and
the landlord will be the one paying the insurance.
Well, it depends on the terms of the agreement. So the landlord will pay the insurance for any major losses, and the tenant can pay insurance for general maintenance or indoor losses. So, for example, the furniture, the fittings, whatever is within the house, anything that is damaged, the tenant will take care of it. But for the structure of the building, is for the landlord because the tenant will go one day, and the landlord will still benefit from the structure of the building.
Absolutely.
So it is in the landlord's interest to insure the building, and it's in the tenant's interest to insure whatever is contained within the building. That's how they do it.
Regardless if it's natural or
regardless if natural or something. But then for natural disasters, more or less the contract is frustrated. So if there's a natural disaster and the particular lease is damaged, the building is damaged, then the entire contract is frustrated.
Right.
That means that it's not anyone's fault. I hope you got it. It's not anyone's fault. If you want the tenant to build the property, you're unfair to him. If you want the landlord to also build the property, you're unfair to the landlord. So what do you do? The particular terms will terminate. That means that a new contract will have to be made on how to settle the costs. And usually they'll put obligations in there that if there is frustration, then if I've paid rent for the rest of the year and the building was destroyed in June, then I'll not recover the rent.
Right.
Because the building has been destroyed. So obviously it's not the landlord's fault. And for the landlord too, if maybe he charged me rent and I've not paid and the building is destroyed, he won't come for the remainder. So that is how they do it. So it's a contract and the contract can be frustrated. And there are terms. The parties can determine what will happen if the contract is frustrated because it cannot be performed. You cannot stay in the house. But usually it's advised that to insure the property, and it happens a lot.
Right.
Unless the people are inexperienced, the property needs to be insured because even a fire can damage the whole property. So you have to insure.
The question is how many properties are insured here?
That's the thing. And most people don't have that kind of legal advice. They don't know that before you deal with properties, you have to make sure that property is insured. Most of the time when someone comes to purchase property, you have to ask them, look, is the property insured? If it's not insured, do you want us to do some sort of insurance on the property for you?
Right.
It's done at the report. I hope you got
Right.
it. So more or less, there will be an insurance agent that will come and facilitate the process for you. And then you go and do your registration. You protect your interest. That is how it works out. But under general circumstances, these things are quite rare.
Right.
So people don't really anticipate it. But I know that's how insurance is. Even death, you can insure against, death, assurance or life assurance and stuff. But all these things are unexpected events. But you can pay premium to protect against it. So that's how we deal with it.